My son is almost 2 and I've been letting him watch Cocomelon, but now I had to get him speech therapy so I can get him to talk. There are hundreds and hundreds of anecdotes in which parents mention the exact same problem. The Cocomelon show is so insanely addictive, it's being compared to nicotine and causing
Welcome to Pegasus vs. the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel.
City boy! City boy!
All right, this is titled Cocomelon, the most evil channel on YouTube. I thought that was a pretty intense title. My daughter used to watch Cocomelon. So, I think we'll just get into this, you guys. Let's see if this is cap. And for y'all older audience, cap means, are they lying, right? Is this not true? Is this false? Or is it real? Is this real or is it cap? This is on Sunny V2's channel. Damn, 4 million subscribers, Sunny. Okay, welcome, man. Damn, support the channels I'm watching this stuff from. If you want to support me, you can like, share, comment, or subscribe. Also, I have a music reaction channel and a podcast. The music reaction channel at Black Pegasus Raps, and then the podcast 40-Year-Old FUQ Boys with a Z at the end. So I will link those in the description if you want to support the humble hustle. And let's get into this. Let's see what this is about.
My son is almost 2 and I've been letting him watch Cocomelon, but now I had to get him speech therapy so I can get him to talk. There are hundreds and hundreds of anecdotes in which parents
Keyword anecdote.
mention the exact same problem. The Cocomelon show is so insanely addictive, it's being compared to nicotine and causing developmental issues amongst the kids who can't stop watching. Children's TV expert Jerica Sands calls it the most damaging show a child can watch, explaining the sneaky ways in which they make the show addictive. Firstly, there's the colors. Take for example the wheels on the bus. The 3 main colors, blue, green, and yellow, are all at maximum saturation, meaning they cannot be made any brighter, no matter how hard you try. Extreme saturation is normally used for alerts and notifications, as it's exciting, dynamic, and attracts attention, which is why it's also used in slot machines.
I just think this is funny because I'm like, bro, I'm guaranteed this type of strategy Mr. Beast uses with all of his stuff too. So it's just like, I don't know. I feel like they're going overboard with the saturation. Like, people are trying to get people to watch their stuff and make it stand out. And that's the other thing. Kids typically, I don't know kids at the age where you're watching Cocomelon, they're not using the controller. Cocomelon's for super young kids. And some older kids watch it too, but it's for super young kids. So it's the parents turning it on, meaning it's just interesting. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what they're getting at. Let's see.
Cocomelon puts these colors in perfect contrast, making them appear even more vibrant, which is different to, for example, Bluey, in which the colors instead blend together. Cocomelon's also different because it's highly repetitive. There's a reason they have 38 videos with over 1 billion views. A child's brain is wired to learn through repetition, so it feels right to them to watch the same thing over and over again. Cocomelon abuses this in almost every video.
They do.
For example,
they actually do play shit way too much. It's mad, annoying and shit.
Yes Playground song, they pick a word to repeat 3 times in every sentence, pairing it with a subtly repeating background lullaby, keeping children hooked. Literally no show or movie puts my son into a deep trance the way Cocomelon does. The second it's on the TV, he turns into a toddler zombie who doesn't see or hear anything else that's going on in the room. This is only exacerbated by Cocomelon's subtitles, which have also been a heavy point of criticism. The letters are not educational, I can barely read them fast enough. It's simply another interesting element to capture your little one's attention. Cocomelon explains in every description, our goal is to help make learning a fun and enjoyable experience for kids, giving you the peace of mind that your children are receiving quality educational content. But people have argued that they're teaching exactly what children shouldn't do. For example, in the No Bedtime song, the baby refuses to brush his teeth, have a bath, put on pajamas, or get in bed. The education is that he eventually agrees to do so, yet a TikTok user was critical, stating, anytime I'd ask my son to do a simple task, he'd say no, no, no. He's sitting there watching Cocomelon, which taught him no, 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 and to say no to me. On the topic of education, Jerica Sands stated, these people don't give a shit about our children.
Yeah, duh. This just sounds like you got a parental problem, not a kid's show problem. Like, don't let the motherfucker watch this. I remember that. We let my daughter watch Cocomelon. My wife would specifically not let her watch certain episodes. I'm going to get into that, but episodes, because the kid was like, what's his name? JJ or some shit? Was acting a fool. Hell nah. Yeah, and there's certain shows we don't let her watch on YouTube because the kids are like arguing or doing stuff, and then all of a sudden we see her being combative with us. Like, we're like, oh, she's taking on these, she's being influenced by this nonsense. Yeah, they're tripping.
Care about money. That's it. Your child's cognitive development in direct exchange for their wealth, and there's pretty good evidence supporting.
See, we're going to keep this playing, but my daughter would watch Cocomelon. She'd probably watch for about 10, 15 minutes. Then she would go play, because we have this like playroom, and so the TV will be up there, and she can watch it, but then she'll go play with her like her Barbie Playhouse. And now it's just interesting, because my daughter did watch Cocomelon. But we monitor it, and we don't just let her sit in front of it all day, you know? And she's really into arts and crafts now. She'll just go sit at the table and do arts and crafts and sing and stuff like that. So this is interesting. I mean, I think there's a case here. I think if you're a parent letting your child be raised by Cocomelon, you might want to think about other programming. But I'm just like, yo, this is on the parents. Like, you don't just sit your kids in front of TV for frickin' 3 to 6 hours, like whatever the case may be, man. You got to mix it up.
This. A New York Times journalist visited Cocomelon's studio, discovering their #1 focus is keeping children hooked. Cocomelon's data and analytics team sifts constantly through YouTube numbers to determine exactly what resonates. Should a girl wear black jeans or blue jeans? Should the music be louder or softer? Should the bus be yellow or red? Yellow is the answer, as they use a darker method to ensure that they're correct. Cocomelon has a dedicated Distractatron room, in which once a month children are brought here one at a time.
Is it called Distractatron for real?
And shown a handful of episodes
That's
to figure
wild.
out exactly which parts of the shows are engaging and which are tuned out. Next to the TV playing Cocomelon, there's a second screen which plays a continuous loop of banal real-world scenes. A guy pouring a cup of coffee, someone getting a haircut, each lasting about 20 seconds. Whenever a youngster looks away from the Moonbug show to glimpse the Distractatron, a note is jotted down. We can see what they're looking at and the exact moment when they got distracted. Therefore, education clearly isn't the primary goal. Keeping kids' attention is, and this is proven by Cocomelon's most addictive element, rapid camera cutting. It's crazy how many times the frame changes on Cocomelon. It's the same type of addicting behavior that we experience on a TikTok binge. It's the quick change of frame that releases that dopamine and makes the videos addicting to watch. Count the seconds between a change of frame. Well, TikToker the Circus Brain did exactly this. He firstly counts the changes on My Little Pony, concluding there's about 6 seconds between each cut. He then compares it to Cocomelon.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
In her video, The Nightmare That Is Cocomelon, Savantix draws a similar conclusion. She found that 96% of the shots in Baby Shark were shorter than 2 seconds. She then compares 4 different animated shows, again finding Cocomelon has the shorter shots.
The longest shot on a Cocomelon video was 6 seconds. The longest shot on Arcane was 8 seconds. The longest shot on Bluey was 27 seconds. And the longest shot on Encanto was 18 seconds.
Which, when combined with every other element, creates some terrifying statistics.
Okay, as we get into this, I want to talk about this before I forget. First and foremost, I thought it was ironic that they showed My Little Pony, because my daughter watches My Little Pony currently, but she used to watch Cocomelon. But the problem I have with all of what they're saying, it's about the parents' tutelage, the parents being involved. We wouldn't let her watch all of Cocomelon shows if we saw like that type of behavior where the kid's saying no, 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 and you're having to like beg the kid in a song like ha ha to get them to brush their teeth and do all that shit. But I think it's interesting because this literally happened yesterday. My daughter showed me, because the other day she said the word idiot. I was like, where did you learn that? She's like, oh, this show. So she brings it. It was on My Little Pony. So the ironic thing is, they're catching up Cocomelon for all this stuff. But my daughter has never learned a word. Like the other day, there was someone said demon in a movie, you know? And so there's like these words and stuff that are just like, huh. But idiot is just something that I'm like, dude, why is that in children's programming? Kids are already going to gravitate to saying stupid, idiot, dumb, stuff like that. So I just feel like that's overkill. So I just think it's funny because right there with their first, I'm like, dude, I'd rather my daughter watch Cocomelon than the whole My Little Pony. Also, the other thing is you have a different type of content. And the other thing is, everything they do is this, right? I would argue that it's worse for kids. These companies are making cereal addictive, right? The colors, that red, the poisonous colors that they put in Kellogg's cereals, like Fruit Loops, is to attract kids to like, blah, 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 and then they eat it, and it's poison. So it's kind of wild. Hey, what's up? Let's talk to the person themselves. Come here. All right. So what show did you show me yesterday where someone said that bad word? They said idiot. Was it My Little Pony? Message. Did they ever say any bad words like that in Cocomelon?
I never heard it.
Yeah, because it's just singing and having fun. Okay, well, I'm having a debate real quick and talking on this video. But I'll come upstairs and make you some food in a second, okay? Just give me like 5 minutes.
And can I say something?
Sure. Did you turn off that show when it was over?
Yeah, can I watch something on my iPad?
Yeah, do Yippee for now, okay? Do the
Okay.
Yippee app, okay?
Because I never watched it for a long time.
Yeah, that's fine. And I trust that programming. Okay? All right. I love you. I'll see you in 1 second. I'm going to come up there.
And if I see any hippies that are not hippies, I'll get out of it.
Yeah, just stay on the Yippee app, okay?
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just funny as a parent, right? Like you're balancing different things. And if not, this isn't a promotion for it, but I'm just going to keep it real. There's a show, Danny Go, and it led us to this app, Yippee. And come to find out, Yippee is a faith-based app. So I don't have to worry about all these worldly, secular innuendos and things like that. It's just playing, singing every now and then. They bring in, the Christian faith, which I'm cool with because I'm Christian. So finding something like that was awesome. I think it's like $40 for a full year. So that, I'd rather her be watching stuff like that and learning stuff like that than learning about makeup and all this materialism and all this other stuff that you see in almost every sense of programming. But we try to balance it in the house, Anyways, let's get into this.
Dr. Kristen Summer explained that when showing an infant normal video content, they'll focus on the screen just 11% of the time.
That's because people are trying to get out of their duty. Why are infants watching like a screen? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just funny. I'm from the era where kids, like, I'm 44. We didn't watch screens. We didn't have phones. It's just crazy. We didn't have computers. We didn't have iPads, all this stuff. So it's just like you got to monitor it. Just like even with my daughter, I got to make sure she's not, messing around.
However, when the video is instead switched to Cocomelon, their screen engagement skyrockets to a whopping 74%. This therefore produces stories such as this. I used to volunteer for a preschool and they had song time. A Cocomelon video came on and all of the tots stopped what they were doing, put down their cheese crackers, and remained fixated on the screen for the duration of the video. It was honestly kind of terrifying.
It is hypnotizing.
YouTuber Saberspark shared his own
The more I think
personal
about it, it is
anecdote.
definitely hypnotizing.
He asked to watch a Disney movie with his two younger cousins.
Hold on, man. My dog came in here. Hey, get over here. Get out of here. Get on out of here. Come here. I'm going to show y'all, man. This is our problem child. This is our problem child. Yeah, she is a problem. All right, go on. Go on. She almost knocked down my camera, though. She just came down here. And anyways, these damn kids, man. I need to put that dog in front of Cocomelon.
Who both completely refused and instead spent all day glued to an iPad playing the addictive show. In Cocomelon Made My Kid a Zombie, a mother talks about her son. He would be in a daze while watching it. You could be waving your
I think it could potentially make them a zombie or hypnotize them, but when you say something as strong as "it made my child," it's like, who made it? Like, why'd you let them watch it? Like, this is what's crazy. Snickers made my child obese. McDonald's made my child obese. No, you went and got them the McDonald's Happy Meal. You went and gave them all the candy on Halloween. You made them obese. So, bro, people got to take accountability.
Hand right in front of his face and he wouldn't move. It was almost scary. This was also discovered by Sarah Mills 98, who explained when the Cocomelon addiction is so real that my 1-year-old can navigate the TV to turn it on by himself.
Yeah,
however, nothing shows the addiction better than the Cocomelon TikTok trend. Parents will play the show's intro loudly and video their kids sprinting toward the television, where you can witness their mood change instantly. The New York Times journalist found something similar.
But I'm just going to say that's just good marketing, because at concerts, there's certain artists that will start their show with the sound and everyone will be at the bar buying something and they'll just run to the stage. It's just marketing. And as parents, I do think it's our duty to like interfere with these things and, you know, balance it out and moderate it for our kids.
In the Distractatron had shown up in the midst of a tantrum, which ended the second he heard the Cocomelon theme song. It was no surprise to Wheeler, the head of research. 99% of kids, he said, if they're having issues when they get here, once that Cocomelon song comes on, they're like, life is okay, all is good with the world. Obviously, there's a reason for this. Cocomelon is so hyper-stimulating that it actually acts as a drug, and what happens when you take the drug away. Young children experiencing symptoms of addiction and withdrawal, obviously leaving them completely dysregulated. TikTok user ThePoff1 filmed what happens when you take the show away, explaining he'll be inconsolable for at least 10 to 15 mins after, adding in the description, Cocomelon meltdown is legit.
See, that never happened with our kiddo. And, you know, every now and then they just have meltdowns when they don't get to do what they want to do. Last night, we had to go to bed and we stopped. I had to be like, hey, you know, turn off whatever we're watching together. And it was just like, but I don't want to. I want to watch. It's just it's like, I don't know. I do feel like they're gassing this a little bit when you think about what they're talking about. You don't give kids drugs, you don't give them too much sugar, like there's a bunch of things. So maybe you should contemplate that, because to me, everything in your body is information, right? Food, the things you see, the things that are being spoken to you, all this stuff is information. So you probably should monitor that for your kiddos, man.
Once you have a taste of the cocoa, it's hard to break the addiction, which this Reddit user had experienced even worse. My husband and I have been worried about our child. I can slowly see how she'd throw violent tantrums at home and in church whenever she'd get bored and would want to watch the show. Her behavior changes the moment she watches the show, and she will not even eat her meals if she wouldn't watch it. After these
that is a problem for all of us as parents, because when we get really busy and we're working, it is like, you saw that. I was just like, hey, you can watch that app. I know it's safe, but I don't like the fact that that iPad is like her babysitter right now. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's managing that. That's why, like, after this video, I'm going to go up there and hang with her. And typically her mom is here, but her mom's out of town. So I've been having to balance work and also doing activities with her in a balance. Because I've taught her since a young age, always create more than you consume. Always create more than you consume. And it's just funny, she'll say that sometimes. And it's actually really cool to see. But yeah, there is something to this, that these screens and this technology is raising our kids, and that is dangerous. Like, they're not lying. I'm not saying this isn't true, and they're not trying to make a product that's addictive to kids, and maybe it does harm some kids. But what I would say, everything in moderation and balance. It doesn't have to be this overboard, like this dark video, like, oh, it's leading your kids to hell, because I just don't think it is. I just think it's up to the parents to monitor this shit. And if your kids start acting that way, you take that shit away. Don't let them watch it then.
Tantrums end, kids can experience a general discomfort in the speed of everyday life. The more they watch the show, the more their brain begins to expect this intense level of stimulation.
Basically, Cocomelon overstimulates their brains so much that everything else just seems slow and boring in comparison.
However, the potential consequences.
So they talk about this for kids, but they don't talk about prawn for men, right? The stimulation, the fantasy that comes from prawn. that really can mess up your brain. I just think it's interesting how people pick and choose. Maybe they've talked about this subject on this channel, but it is interesting. I mean, we do got to protect the kiddos, but you know that everything about our society overstimulates them, from the things they watch, even the billboards people put up. They're using these same tactics in billboards when you in the store with the toys. They're trying to sell them, in the food with the ingredients, in the candy. I mean, everywhere you go, they're attacking the kids, but they're also attacking you. Like, they're just attacking on every level because we're in hustle culture in America. They're trying to sell you these products. And I'm not, like, I get it. Like, they're calling a spade, so I feel that. But it's also, I think this is more of a wake-up call for parents, just to wake up and be more involved in your kid's life.
Consequences get much worse than this. As mentioned at the start, it was the cause of a child's speaking problems, with a notable reply reading, "Same thing happened with my daughter too. She's 4 but can't speak properly. She knows the words, but she does not like to frame the sentence or speech. She has been watching these Cocomelons or such other stuffs for 2 or 3 years. Hope we're not too late." Over on Reddit, a speech language pathologist explained, "Screen time in general is linked with speech delays for a variety of reasons, but Cocomelon is excessively bad. Firstly, unlike other TV shows or movies, it doesn't have a story. It's just very short clips with poorly written songs. The kids aren't able to follow the plot, learn vocabulary, and see the resolution of a conflict, supported by infant specialist Meg Fora."
And the problem with fast-paced TV programs is that we find that little one's language development is slower.
On the Agents of Speech YouTube channel, this is again confirmed.
The main problem with watching videos on the internet is that they don't know how to use the language that they learn.
But he adds that 4 to 5 hours of screen time per day can make a toddler completely non-verbal.
That's a lot of screen time, ain't it? Holy 4 to 5 hours? God.
5 hours is obviously a lot of time, but in Cocomelon Made My Kid a Zombie, researchers discovered that 5-year-olds who watch more than 2 hours of TV a day tended to have lower attention spans and were 7.7 times more likely to show symptoms of ADHD. These screen times might be even lower for Cocomelon specifically, because as explained by Jerica Sands, not all screen time is created equal. A child who just—
I'm not disagreeing with this. Again, we parents got to step in, because this end part is kind of crazy.
Just watch 30 minutes of Cocomelon, and a child who just watched 30 minutes of Trash Truck will look like a very, very different child. Thankfully, here lies a simple solution. Sierra Renee explained, "My 2-year-old is speech delayed and addicted to Cocomelon. Switched to Miss Rachel 2 days ago, and he's already saying more words and hasn't had any tantrums." Kim.it shared an almost identical anecdote. "My 8-month-old was obsessed with Cocomelon and having bad tantrums, so I cancelled Cocomelon and only let her watch Miss Rachel, and she said her first word within the first 3 days of watching. Clearly..."
See, this is what's crazy. We let her watch Miss Rachel, but when it was on the other day, that little MF with the guitar singing, the non-binary ass, I was like, yo, what are they trying to put in front of these kids already? I could be tripping. Maybe it's just a little boy, but anyway, yeah, man, that shit is crazy to me too. So that's why I monitor everything, yo, man, for real. But Miss Rachel was a cool show. But there's a bunch of actually cool stuff. You know, we use this homeschooling program, and on the iPad, there's a part that we do through the iPad, and it's like crazy. And sometimes she'll get hooked watching that, but it's just like a teacher teaching. That's actually kind of cool. I think there's a balance here to strive for, because we ain't gonna get away from technology, but this is kind of scary, man. Like, I'm all about, trying to raise the best kids I can.
Parents are able to simply change the channel, but not before leaving Cocomelon a massive amount of dislikes. They've therefore earned the title, "The Absurdly Popular Kids Show Parents Hate," and Cocomelon has actually responded to the criticism that explain our shows are not intended to replace outdoor playtime or playdates. They have a place in children's entertainment time, and as with food, exercise, etc., it comes down to each parent to find the right and appropriate balance for their children.
That's facts.
Our responsibility is ensuring that the quality of the content that we produce is high and beneficial for the development of a child's cognitive and soft skills. It is worth adding that our social media communities are filled with stories of parents who experience firsthand how Moonbug content helps their children. Cocomelon does have a crazy amount of supporters, but it's obvious that some of them are simply ignoring the downsides. My baby learned the alphabet and numbers from Cocomelon. She may not speak a complete sentence, but she expresses her wants through phrases. But is it Cocomelon's responsibility to ensure that babies are talking? Well, no. People love blaming cartoons and games for raising children, and not the shitty parents that don't step in to stop them from watching so much. Cocomelon is actually a really sad symbol of parents giving their children tablets instead of actually parenting and interacting with them. Ultimately, parents are the people who choose how much their child consumes.
There you go. Everything I said through the whole video, he said at the end. But I like this video for highlighting some things that I might not. Because what's funny is I noticed when it's showing those cuts, I was like, oh, Mr. Beast does this in his videos. Like there's all these quick cuts and edits. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, there's these people study the best way to keep an audience engaged, but then people's habits change because they've been saying that the trend is moving towards this long form content that's not edited. People are really enjoying like the Sam Suleks and there's a bunch of other people in podcasting. So it just depends on who's watching it. But this is absolutely right. I'm getting the F out of here and going upstairs. Going to make some breakfast with my daughter, hang out with her. Because this got me, this one, it hit close to home. Damn.
City boy!